And good evening or afternoon or morning, depending on where you are around the world. I am Marcus Holmes, the facilitator of the Love and Stuff community, and I'm excited to be with you via Restream on the Love and Stuff page, the Marcus R. Holmes page, YouTube events, and Twitch TV. Why don't you take a moment and click share and tag someone to join us in what will be a very special show tonight that will highlight, as we close out the month, some pretty amazing women. And I hope that throughout this evening that you will drop in the comments women that you find phenomenal and amazing. So whether you're watching us on the Facebook platform or YouTube events or Twitch TV, drop in the comments right now some women that you think are phenomenal as we come to the close of Women's History Month. You know, we opened this month with a video tribute to a number of women, and we wanted to close this month, take this time out in this show to close the month with tributes to wonderful women. So I see Pastorine Udoakpin is here from Uyu, Nigeria. I see that Dan Scalzone is here. I see Sonia Wadi is here. I hope those of you that are here along with them will click share, tag 5 of your closest Facebook friends, 5 of your more popular Facebook friends to join us in tonight's celebration as we highlight some great women during this Women's History Month. And we're highlighting some women who have made history, and we talked a little bit about some of them during Black History as well as in the beginning of the month. But we're also going to highlight some women who may be some unsung heroes, and also some women who in present times are phenomenal women and doing phenomenal things in their various areas. So I'm asking you to take a moment to click share right now. I'm going to tag just a few people, and I'm going to bring up the first photo in just one moment. But I'd like to know where you're from. So Dan, tell us where you're from. I already said where Pastorine is from. Sonia, drop in the comments where you're from, and click share and tag someone to join us so that we can get these numbers going. My mom and grandma, my aunties, thank you, Sonia. If you can put their names in there, that will be even better. And so we will have a very special tribute at the end. You don't want to miss it, so you got to watch until the end to see what the special tribute is all about. But we have a few tributes that we're going to do throughout tonight's program. And so I hope that those of you that are here will first click share. Right now, click that share button and tag 5 of your closest Facebook friends, 5 of your more popular Facebook friends to join us. And then I want you to drop in the comments where you are around the world, just like Tabatha Goodner did. Here from Michigan, of course, she's a part of our Love and Stuff community. And also drop in the comments who are some of the phenomenal women whose names that you want to be called out to recognize their phenomenal contribution. You know, a phenomenal woman, sometimes people stereotype women and roles, right? But a phenomenal woman could be a homemaker. A phenomenal woman could be a neurophysicist. A phenomenal woman could be a police officer. Whomever that phenomenal woman is, I want you to drop her name in the comments. Sonia's from South Carolina. Shout out to South Carolina. What's the weather like down there? Click share and tag some folks to join us in this discussion. So across the platforms, from Love and Stuff to Marcus R. Holmes to Twitch TV and YouTube events, I want you to drop in the comments the name of some phenomenal women. We're going to be talking about phenomenal women for this hour as we close out Women's History Month. Some of these women have made phenomenal strides on behalf of humanity, and some of them have made those phenomenal strides, and maybe they're not as noted or known, but you will know them here. And I hope that you will click share to engage other folks to join us. And so I'm going to go to one of the first pictures, and it's 73 degrees. That's wonderful. Would have made for a good bike ride this afternoon here in Northwest Detroit. I am going to be sharing from some interviews that I've had with 2 phenomenal women and you don't want to miss these interview clips. These are phenomenal women, and their stories are phenomenal stories, and you don't want to miss the stories in part of Dr. Ramona Cox. Just some clips from my interview with her and some clips from my interview with author Jennifer Jones Austin. You want to definitely stay around, so you don't want to miss those. There are phenomenal women, and we've talked about some of them, at least one of these in Black History Month. Can you drop in the comments, who is this woman? It might help you to win a prize here in Love and Stuff. Who is this woman? Does anybody know? Drop in the comments if you know who this woman is. As a matter of fact, she has a born name, and she has a name that she kind of took on. And if you say either of those names, you might be eligible for something really good to happen for you. I'll give you a moment to click share and have someone join us in the discussion. Do you recognize who this is? I'm looking across platforms. I hope I haven't stumped you as to who this great person is in women's history. All right, I'll give you a few more seconds, as I know you're clicking share, to invite other folks to join us. All right, give you another moment or two, counting down from 10. We'll make it 10 moments or two. We're at 7, still counting down. Do you know who this woman is? All right, Sonia Waddy is putting the names of those phenomenal women in her life: Joan Waddy, Minnie Ward, Aunt Ruth, and Veronica Ward. Thank you for that. Do you know who this is? All right. Well, if I had a buzzer, I'd go bump, 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 bump. Right? That's how they would do it. Bump, 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 bump. She is Sarah Breedlove, most widely known as Madam C.J. Walker. Madam C.J. Walker, first really documented woman African-American millionaire, right? Thank you, Dr. Cox. She says, you were just a second behind when I was putting it up, but she is the African-American staple for who a millionaire was back in the 1900s. So imagine what $1 million would have been worth back then versus where it is today. Click share so that you can have some other folks join us. I'm going to the next picture. Do you know who this is? Who is that? Give you a few minutes to figure it out, a few moments. Give you another moment or two while you're figuring it out and sharing. Few moments. Just a couple more moments. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That is Marian Wright Edelman. She's an American activist for children's right, president of the Children's Defense Fund, right? She's been an advocate for children's right for a very long time, for disadvantaged Americans, for her entire professional career. She's the founder and president emerita of the Children's Defense Fund, and she's influenced leaders such as Dr. Martin Luther King and Hillary Clinton. So that is Dr. Wright. And since we have Dr. Cox here, I'm going to play just a portion of one clip that from an interview that I had with her. She is a phenomenal, phenomenal person. And we'll learn a little bit more about Dr. Ramona, an awesome, awesome young woman who does great work in sports.
One of the things that I think about now,
I got to make sure I'm all set. Running the boards. All right. We will add just all right. And we're going to share a clip. of her. All right.
One of the things that I think about now is if I could go back and do some of those things that I did back then. Mm-hmm. If you put your mind to it, then you can do it. There were so many things in terms of running, conditioning, getting up early in the morning that I think back and think, wow, I just cannot believe that I did those things. Mm-hmm. And again, if you have a goal in mind mm-hmm. and you want to achieve it, mm-hmm. if you put your mind to it, you can achieve that goal. And there were just so many things that, I probably just really didn't even think about. I wanted to be on that team. I wanted to show what I could do, mm-hmm. and I did. Mm-hmm. So that was the thing that, if it's something that you want to achieve, you can do it. You can do it. And it started with me making that team.
Yeah. That was Ramona Cox, who is an associate director with Detroit PAL. She's responsible for Detroit PAL's girls programming, including volleyball, softball, and girls basketball, as well as New Girls Initiative programs like etiquette training. She's a graduate of the University of Michigan, Go Blue, where she played on the women's volleyball team. She later received her master's degree in sports administration from Wayne State University and obtained her PhD in kinesiology with a concentration in sports psychology from Michigan State University in 2014. She has done research. She has done a variety of exciting experiences, and she is head girls varsity volleyball coach for Cass Tech, among a number of other great things. And we're celebrating her and lauding her this day, this month, Women's History Month. Congratulations to her. And we'll be playing a little bit more of the clips from that interview in just a moment. I want to go back to these photos because I think you probably will guess who this person is. I probably don't even have to give you 1 second to drop it in the comments. But drop in the comments who she is, and then drop in the comments some things about her maybe that you admire. Some things maybe that you admire about her. Drop in the comments. I know you know who this is, but I don't see anybody in the comments. I know you know who this is. That's right, Sonia. It is our former First Lady. And somebody, Michelle Obama, somebody drop in the comments, what are some of the things that you admire about her? What do you admire about her? Anything, one thing, some things. What do you admire about her? While I'm waiting for you to drop those in the comments, I admire, of course, the causes that she's aligned herself with, making sure children are healthy and have wellness, because I think our children, of course, are our future, but their wellness is at stake. And I don't think that we're really even paying attention to that. But I think she kind of broke the mold of, along with Dr. Hillary Clinton, of the traditional First Lady that might not have been a career type woman, though there have been other career women in that role. I think you look at her brilliance and intelligence and it makes you think very differently about First Ladies. Anybody agree with that? Drop some likes or loves in the comments. And so I know you know who that is. Michelle Ballard has joined us. I hope you will click share and tag someone to join us in this quick celebration that we're doing of great, great women. There are great women throughout history and even some present day women that should be acknowledged and honored and celebrated, just like we are doing for Madam C.J. Walker, for Marion Edelson Wright, and for former First Lady Michelle Obama. Ramona says, classy, professional, great mother. Yes. Somebody else, anything that you admire about the former First Lady, Michelle Obama. I want to be clarifying who I'm speaking of. Of course, you might admire some other First Ladies, but we're talking about Michelle Obama. And I would love for you to drop in the comments some of the things that you admire about her. Okay? And we're going to go to another clip from the interview that what we had with Ramona. I believe in this clip, Dr. Cox is talking about her regimen and inspiration of how she got to play in sports. And we'll hear a little bit about that. Don't forget to click share and tag someone to join us in the discussion. We are talking and celebrating great women. A lot of women are great, but we chose just a few. Of course, we couldn't laud them all, but we wanted to choose a few to share with you. And Dr. Cox, Ramona Cox, is one that we are highlighting. Let's see the comments. Sonia Waddy says her loving heart. Tabatha Goodner says, I admire her commitment to her vision for her life and contributions to her marriage and family. She has had numerous accomplishments and personal drive, which speaks to her determination. Above all, her embodiment and example is far more reaching than any words said for her daughters and women in general. Excellent. Thank you for sharing that. Excellent. And so we are going to,
let me just tell you about
okay, we're going to bring up the next clip that we're sharing on Dr. Ramona Cox, who we're highlighting tonight among many women. We could highlight a lot of women, but we're highlighting, of course, Dr. Cox tonight. And I hope I'm sharing the right video clip. All right.
One of the things that I think about now is if I could go back and do some of those things that I did back then. If you put your mind to it.
Okay, that was not the one we wanted to share. We just shared that one. I know you're going to be very patient with me as I'm running the board tonight. I am running the board. And so we're going to share another clip from Dr. Cox. Thank you for your patience. Here we go. All right.
Okay, so let me just tell you about my experience with football. So I've been out of football for a little while, but I did play semi-professional football for 11 years.
Okay.
I played for the Detroit Demolition and the Detroit Dark Angels.
Okay.
I played tight end and I played fullback.
Okay.
And when this opportunity came about, again, with me just being an athlete, this opportunity came about. I didn't know much about football. I just wanted to play. And I said, well, let me try it. And the tight end, I'm like, what is a tight end? Okay, they get to catch the ball, they get to run people over. I said, well, let me just try that. I get to do both things. So that's how I became a tight end. Our team was amazing. We won 5 national championships, and over the course of those years. And I wanted to, again, provide opportunities for young girls again. So this was an opportunity for me to do that. I spent some time working at the Boys and Girls Club, and I wanted to do a flag football program with them. And so that research project happened at the Boys and Girls Club. And so we did some flag football. The girls loved it. Again, it's a thing where if you just give them an opportunity to try it, they may love it. And one of the things, another barrier that I have faced is that there are administrators at schools that will quickly say, the girls just don't want to do it. They don't want to play. We don't have enough girls. But they don't spend the time asking them if they want to do it, providing them the opportunity to do it. And that's one of the barriers that I have faced, right? And so that was an opportunity. Let's get out here and see what the girls want to do. And they enjoyed doing it. There was no contact, but we were, throwing the ball around and having a really, really good time. And so that is something that I do want to put in place again. There is high school flag football in some states. And I would love to see that in Michigan. And I would like to start with some of these younger girls and see how they like it. I think they would love it. I think they would. Mm-hmm.
And so, Dr. Cox, we salute you for the great work that you are doing. And I love that she has this fearless nature about her, and she will try whatever sport. As you know, she said in the interview, she did professional or semi-pro football as a tight end for 5 years and was very successful, I believe 5 years, and was very successful in that game. And so she's breaking down doors and walls. And what I love about it is that young girls get to see that it's okay to want to play sports that have been traditionally defined as sports that are for men. And I love the work that Dr. Cox is doing, and I'm so very proud of her. She's a young woman doing great work. And I hope that you will give likes and loves in the comments as we're celebrating as one of our featured highlights tonight, Dr. Ramona Cox. Round of applause for her. I hope that you will put hearts and loves, and I hope that you will click share and tag someone to join us. We're talking about great and phenomenal women, both from the past and present, so that those in the future will have a record that there are phenomenal women that should be celebrated all year long. But certainly as we close out Women's History Month, we wanted to raise the voice, we wanted to raise the light and elevate the platform for women that are knocking it out. And she is one that's doing that. Stick around, because there's one more clip in which she shares a little bit about her mother, and I think you will enjoy that clip as well. Drop in the comments if you're just joining us. Who is the woman or women that you admire, that you think their names should be spoken aloud? Sonia Wadi has dropped names. We have put some names of some people past and present, but we want, as a part of the record, for you to drop names of women that you admire, that you feel have paved the way or who have inspired you, and that they are phenomenal women. We want you to speak their names in the comments, and I will speak their names aloud for the record. You don't want to go and you want to click share, because we're continuing to honor women, and we're going to segue into some women that might not be as popularly known, but certainly are doing phenomenal things in their respective spheres of influence. And so I want you to click share right now as we go to the next photo. Click share right now and tag someone to join us in this celebration of all things woman, as we are celebrating the close of Women's History Month. Ramona says, Mary Cox, excellent. And we're going to share a little bit on Mary Cox, just from her clip, Ramona, Dr. Cox's clip, where she talks a little bit about her mom and the inspiration from her mom. I want to pull up, though, another picture, and I want you to tell me if you know who this is. Do you know who that is? Drop in the comments if you know who that is. Let me check the comments. Anybody know who that is? Drop in the comments if you know who that is. Valencia Edner has joined us. She says, Justine Lofton still making it happen and making a difference at 95. Wow, Justine Lofton. Anybody know who this woman is? Give you a few seconds, okay? Known as one of the preachers of Detroit from the Preachers of Detroit show, Bishop Carletta Vaughn is one of the world's most prominent women of faith. She shattered the stained glass ceiling of the church world when she became a female preacher against her Baptist church strict rules, and has been dedicated to the cloth for well over 40 years. She's currently the senior pastor of the Holy Ghost Cathedral and chief apostle to Go Tell It Evangelistic Ministries worldwide. Her network provides oversight to hundreds of churches and more than 1,300 ministries globally. And you can hear her right here on Facebook every morning in the Holy Spirit School that has grown in great popularity here on Facebook. We salute her as a woman in ministry, and she has done and is doing phenomenal things. Somebody tag her in this. I tagged her on one of the pages just so she knows that we are speaking her name upon among women in history. Give me some likes and loves for her. All right. We're going to transition slightly to our second featured. All of these women are being featured, but we have two that we are highlighting and featuring. And I am playing a clip from one of the interview parts that I had with this phenomenal woman who is an author and who is doing phenomenal work with families and children in the New York City area. Her name is Jennifer Jones Austin, and I want to play this first part of an interview clip that I did with her. It tells you a little bit about where her social justice roots come from. Jennifer Jones Austin. Out of your social justice roots.
Absolutely, absolutely. So my father, grandfather, and great-grandfather were all faith leaders in the Baptist denomination of Protestantism, and they were also social justice leaders, leading marches, leading rallies, leading demonstrations, advocating for services and equity in pay, equity in job opportunity. My grandfather was roommates with Martin Luther King Sr. My father and Martin Luther King Jr., along with about 6 or 7 other persons, founded the Progressive National Baptist Convention, which Dr. James Perkins was a president of. My father was the president of the economic arm, Operation Breadbasket, for the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. And so, I grew up in a household where I saw my father, as he would put it, speaking truth to power. And as he would say, freedom is the ability to say no to a lie, to veto an untruth. He would say that the faith leader, and often he'd say the preacher, is, but sometimes he'd say the faith leader is the freest person on earth, because his or her allegiance is to God and to no one else but God, and that allows you to be free. And so when you grow up in a household like that, right, where you are seeing a faith leader and other faith leaders just speak what they believe is the will of God, and what they are determined, that they are directed by God to do and to say and to speak and to feel, it's just a part of who you are. It's a part of your DNA, how you show up in the world. And then couple that with having a mother who also, both my father and mother grew up in Kentucky. And my mother decided that when she was graduating from high school back in the late 50s, that she wanted a career in the arts. And not in the dramatic arts, but in the visual arts. And she wanted to study art history in college. And they said to her, that's not a career for a Black woman. You can't work in that space. And I watched her over the years build her career and become the first Black person to be the curator of a Fortune 500 corporate art program. I saw her travel the world with millions of dollars annually allocated to her to buy art and to place it in buildings across the country and in other parts of the world. So that then, when you see this and you experience this, and I always talk about the marinating process and exposure, what our children see, what we experience becomes who we are. And so when you see your father speaking truth to power and living his calling, and you see your mother living her passion and her purpose, you wind up feeling like that's what you're supposed to do in this world. Find your passion and work in pursuit of it. And your passion given you by God.
That's Jennifer Jones Austin, Esquire. She is the CEO and executive director of FPWA, which is an anti-poverty policy and advocacy organization that has 150 organizations that are partners and members. She's led and secured monumental social policy and social justice change in the laws in New York State to strengthen and empower the disenfranchised and marginalized. She also has previously served as the senior vice president of United Way of New York City, the family services coordinator for former Mayor Bloomberg, and deputy commissioner for the New York City Administration for Children's Services, civil rights deputy bureau chief, and for the attorney general there, and vice president for Learn Now Edison Schools. She's also the co-host of Keeping It Real with Reverend Al Sharpton. And she is the author of Consider It Pure Joy. And if you stick around, there's a little bit more about that book and her personal account of what happened in her life when illness came upon her. We're talking about phenomenal women as we close out this Women's History Month. Why don't you take a moment to click share, invite someone to join us in this discussion, and then drop in the comments the names of the individuals who are or were phenomenal women in your life that helped to mold and shape you, were history makers or were ceiling breakers. Name them by name so we can speak their names aloud, just as Sonia has done, and Dr. Ramona Cox has done, who is one of our featured persons today, just as Valencia Etner has done. Drop in the comments that we might speak their names as we close out this month of women's history. I'm going to pull up another picture, and I want to know if you know who this person is. And of course, some of these are unsung to some people, but here is the picture. Do you know who that is? If you do, drop her name in the comments. All right, give you a few more seconds while you're clicking share and tagging someone to join us in this conversation of Women's History Celebration. All right. I don't see anybody in the comments. I've stumped you. That's all right. That picture was of the beautiful living legend, Dr. Carolyn J. Cole. And if Ebenezer Clark, Twinkie Clark, is the queen of the Hammond organ, Carol Cole is the princess of those keyboards. She is a phenomenal musician who has played for many fine aggregations around the world. But among them, she has played for Dr. Mattie Moss Clark, the late Dr. Mattie Moss Clark. She's also played for the late Donald Vales, was a member of his Voices of Deliverance and one of the musicians. She's played for the late Reverend Charles Nix and many, many others. She's a phenomenal singer, musician, arranger, director. She does it all. Her parents, who led her down this path of great musicianship, her mother was one of the first musicians that played for the Michigan State Community Choir, organized and formed by Dr. Clark, who of course is credited for 3-part breakdown harmony before anyone else was doing it. And her dad, Cleveland Cole, was the first president of that choir. And so she has deep roots in the Church of God in Christ and in the early days of the Dr. Mattie Moss Clark music. And she shares many stories of those great times and great history of music, along with the work that she did with Reverend Donald Vail. I tagged her in this, but I hope that you will tag her. She is a very modest individual, so she would not want extra praise. But I am sure she looks at musicians like her contemporary Twinkie and Beverly Glenn and others who paved the way for female musicians. But many younger musicians look to Carol Cole as a person that has paved the way for them as a well-rounded, a very gifted, and highly anointed musician. Give me likes and loves in this Women's History Month as we celebrate Carolyn J. Cole. Give me some likes and loves for her. I see Noah Williams has joined us. Hello, cousin. Thank you for joining us. Click share and tag someone. We're just celebrating the phenomenal women in Women's History Month. Why don't you drop one of the phenomenal women, the names of a phenomenal woman or women in the comments, and we will certainly speak them aloud. Click share right now as we prepare to go to another clip of the video from the interview with Jennifer Jones Austin, who is the author of Consider It Pure Joy, whose story is phenomenal, and you don't want to miss these awesome clips of an interview that I was privileged to do with her that I share with you now. And it is amazing.
I went into this work.
The blessings of what has happened in the course of her life. I'm going to share another clip from our interview with you right now.
I went into this work believing that I was there to help children and lift up vulnerable children. And I looked to persons like Marian Wright Edelman, founder of the Children's Defense Fund, a force of nature, African-American woman, Spelman graduate who went on to found her own nonprofit policy organization lifting up the concerns and needs of children. So, she became a role model and a distant mentor. I worked for her at one point. I looked at people like Hillary Clinton, who used her law degree, like Marian Wright Edelman, who used hers to work on for vulnerable children. And so that was the space I was moving in. And I guess maybe about 4 or 5 years into it, I realized that I could not be concerned only about children. That you can't save and make a difference in children's lives by focusing exclusively on them, and also focusing on them after the trauma has presented. So I worked in child welfare, children being removed from their homes and placed in foster care. And I began to appreciate that we were kind of putting a Band-Aid on the problem, but we weren't solving it. And if we weren't working with their families, who at times were not being the best to them, but it doesn't mean that they weren't good people. It just meant that they were challenged too. And I realized that I needed to lean in and work and do more with vulnerable children and their families. So that's a big moment. And then that's what took me to stepping out of the space and looking at the issues and the needs that present, for persons who often traumatized. Like, not everybody who lives in poverty abuses their children, but the stress of poverty can contribute to child abuse and neglect. Looking at the experiences of persons who have been victims of domestic violence and how that can play into, not being the best parent possible. And so I began expanding my understanding and working with other vulnerable communities, appreciating that you got to take care of everybody. So that was one aha moment. And then I'll quickly share that about 3 years ago, I had another big aha moment. After being in this field for more than 20 years, feeling like I was making impact at the local level, at the state level, at the national level, doing really good work, I was asked to join the New York City Board of Correction, which is the board oversight for our jails. And my first thought was, I don't know anything about the jails in terms of management and oversight and what we should be doing about this or that. Do I know people who've been incarcerated? Yes. Have I had family experiences? Yes, right? Do I look at it from afar and realize we got a problem concerning mass incarceration of Black people and brown? Yes. But do I know how to manage jail? No. So I was like, I'm not doing that. I'm not contributing to the problem. The nudge kept coming, and I realized I had to do it. In a moment, but I quickly learned was that God was helping to open my eyes. Getting in the jails, I grew to understand that we often think about incarceration as the end of the road. When systems have broken down, when children who've grown up, in challenging circumstances and become involved with one after the next, ultimately, whether it be foster care or, it's not every kid, but let's say it's foster care or homelessness, mental health, whatever, very often they find themselves in bars. I began to appreciate that what God was helping me to see was that incarceration is not always the end of the road. It can be the beginning of the road for some people. If a parent is incarcerated, a child now is parentless, right? And that child's life now changes dramatically. If an individual is incarcerated and they have partners, right, or a partner, that person now may have the burden of caring for the family and may not have the resources. And what I realized was God was saying, I need you to lean in here, because there's a big part of this puzzle that you don't know enough about. When I heard him and I leaned in, I realized that in America we talk about race and justice involvement, but we don't talk enough about race and poverty and justice involvement, and that we need to talk about the trifecta impact. Right? Because you can be Black in America and become involved with the justice system, but if you have the resources, and I don't need to mention some high profile cases, right? Then, the system may work for you, right? But if you're poor, you're at a disadvantage just right out the door. And so that was another aha moment. And just thanking God that, even, as I consider myself mature and more expert than I was 20, 25 years ago, he's still providing, still creating these moments where I can lean in and learn and feel and realize, no, you got work to do. You got to still build and figure this stuff out. So those are a couple of aha moments.
That was Dr. Jennifer Jones Austin, or Esquire. And what a phenomenal journey in her work to help combat poverty, and combat all of the social ills that are happening in the state of New York. What a phenomenal woman. We're talking about phenomenal women, highlighting two of them, Jennifer Jones Austin, Esquire, and Dr. Ramona Cox. But we have other women that we're highlighting. You don't want to miss it. So you should click share and tag someone to join us for these wonderful tributes that we're making of very phenomenal women. I want to know if you recognize this next woman. You recognize her, drop her name in the comments. I'll give you a moment to do that. I hope that you will click share and tag someone to join us, whether you are on Facebook Live or Twitch TV or YouTube events. We see you and appreciate you, and we're asking that you will just click share to involve, invite, engage someone else in this evening's great celebration of women in history as we close out Women's History Month. Okay, this great woman is Alicia Bradford, who is the director of Wayne County Parks and Recreation. A phenomenal woman, and I've tagged her in this video as well. We celebrate her for her accomplishments in navigating a career in human resources and recreation, becoming a top-notch recreation professional in the state of Michigan, and on the national front, and taking recreation to another level, both at the city and county levels. We celebrate and salute you, Alicia Bradford, AC Bradford, and we hope that others will join us in that salute with their likes, loves, and whatever emoji you want to drop in the comments. For those of you that are joining, click share and tag someone to join us in this celebration of Women's History Month as we celebrate great women who have done phenomenal things. And we are moving along to see, do you know who this next woman is? If you know her name, drop it in the comments. This great business owner is June Rochelle Eaton, and she's a phenomenal business owner who's in the Love and Stuff community. She's the owner of several businesses, which include clothing, a bridal salon, and real estate. And she is on her way to being a mogul in her business. She is working diligently, connecting people and connecting relationships with great products and services. We celebrate you, June Rochelle Eaton, as a part of Women's History Month. And we hope we've tagged you, and we hope that you hear us speak your name and that you continue to blaze trails for young women to see that you can make your dreams come true. If you match your hard work and hustle with ingenuity, all things are possible. And so we celebrate her, and I hope that you will drop that emoji, hearts, and love in the comments for her. This next young lady is also in the Love and Stuff community. We're coming closer home to the Love and Stuff community. Andrea Williams is a part of our Love and Stuff community, and she is on a mission, on an iconic mission to help women and to help people live their best lives, live as butterflies, come out of the cocoon, and be all that they have been destined to be. And so she is also a part of the Love and Stuff community, and we wanted to shout her out and let her know that we are proud of the work that she is doing, and we are grateful to be connected to her here in the Love and Stuff community. Speak her name. She is Andrea Williams. We're going to go back to another clip of Jennifer Jones Austin, who is an author also of Consider It Pure Joy. And she's going to share some of the more personal parts of her story. And I think this is going to be a game changer for you. You don't want to miss it. And you want to click share to invite others to join in this very special part of Jennifer's journey as illness set in to her life. You don't want to miss this part of the story.
And then this now. Right, as we're going through COVID and as we're struggling as a nation, and we're feeling like there's but so much control that we have, right? We can't come and go as freely as we once did. And now we're confronting all of these other issues with, politics and race matters. You're reminding me in this moment of how that moment helped me to learn how to live moments like these. Now, in that moment, I learned to release in a way that I never had. And having to put my faith and lean on my faith in God, but then also appreciate that God had given me somebody who wanted to hold this for me. And I had to trust. It was almost like, those exercises where they had you fall backward and you got to trust that somebody's going to catch you. I had to trust. And what I had to realize was, I'm so glad that you raised this, Marcus. What I had to realize was the more I held on to it, the greater stress I was causing myself. And when you allow stress in your life mentally, it affects you physically. And so if I was holding all of that stress, my body was not going to be at ease to receive the treatments that it needed, right? To just, like if I wasn't allowing myself to just be, the tension and that it was going to affect me. And so it was like God sent someone to say, let it go. I've got you. And frankly, I'm just going to tell you, here was this woman of Jewish faith, right? A white woman of Jewish faith, very unlike me, but looking at me saying, I got you. And you know what? We're not going to let you die. You can't. And it was just like invested in me. She saw me. She saw my greatest fears. She saw when I say my greatest fears, I wasn't afraid of dying. I was afraid of leaving those children, right? And she saw that. And she said, got you. And so I learned to release, and I will tell you that was 10 years ago. And I've now been living in that space. I'm getting through COVID because I'm like, whatever God had for, then that is what it is. And I can't spend my days worrying what's going to come next. I just got to live in the moment in the way that he desires. Yes.
Jennifer Jones Austin sharing from her personal story of her diagnosis of leukemia and the Jewish doctor telling her, we're not going to let you die. But because Jennifer Jones Austin was so used to navigating and orchestrating everything in her life, she had to really release it to allow someone else to be in control. And we celebrate her, phenomenal woman. And there's one more clip about this story that you do not want to miss. Click share and tag someone to join us as we're talking about Women's History Month and celebrating some great women. We're moving close to the women within Love and Stuff. Some phenomenal women, a bunch of phenomenal women, and we decided to highlight just a few of them today. And so I'm going to bring up another picture of a woman in Love and Stuff because we've already highlighted 3. Here is another woman. Tell me if her face is familiar to you. Do you know who that is? If you do, drop her name in the comments. I'll give you a moment. In case you don't know who that is Christina Smith from Powerful Money Tools, LLC. She is a supporting partner in our work here in Love and Stuff with her business, helping women and everybody to empower themselves financially to live the kind of life that they want to live. And that's right, Darren Williams, that's Christina. And she is breaking down barriers of finance for everybody, giving them financial literacy and education to help them live out their best budget and best life. So we celebrate you, Christina Smith from Powerful Money Tools, LLC, here in the Love and Stuff community as we close out this Women's History Month. And we wanted you to know that we want to encourage you to keep on blazing the trails so young women like your daughter, Sydney, and others can see phenomenal women as a part of the record of history. You can also drop the names of phenomenal women in your life or women that have been phenomenal in the life around you in the comments so that we can speak their names as well. Again, we're in the Love and Stuff community right now, and we're going to share another phenomenal face. Do you recognize that face? Do you know who that is? Drop that name in the comments. Give you another moment to drop that name in the comments if you know who that is. All right. That is Elder Tabatha Goodner, who is an author, a phenomenal woman, the administrator of excellence at the Second Ebenezer Church in Detroit, Michigan. She is also known as Lady Dorcas, with a powerful women's ministry, powerful sharpening of the saw sharpening sessions that women can partake in, and smashing the game on Clubhouse as a voice who is being elevated there to call women into unwrapping themselves and giving the gift of yourself for the world to experience. We celebrate you, Elder Tabatha Goodner, in the Love and Stuff community in this Women's History Month. May you continue to blaze the trails ahead and impact fully those that are along the path. And you can give shouts out, hearts, likes, and loves for all of these people that we're shouting out today. All right. We're going to go back to our interview, one of our highlight interviews with Dr. Ramona Cox. Here is a clip as she talks a little bit about her inspiration. One of her inspirations, her mother, who, bless her memory, is an angel on the balcony of heaven, cheering on Ramona and the work that she is doing. I will share this video with you
again
now.
The support.
Okay.
So I would say, again, the support that I received was very instrumental. I would say that there really was never a no that I can remember in terms of me playing sports or wanting to do anything related to sports. There were some no's though, but never anything related to, me playing sports or, wanting to go to a tournament or, I remember after prom flying out to Chicago for a tournament the next day. I remember my sister and I used to play volleyball like to midnight. And mom was not the type to like let us just be out and partying or anything, but she trusted us to go play volleyball to midnight at night and was not worried that we were doing anything wrong or we were with the wrong people. But when it came to volleyball, she was okay with it, right? So we really had a lot of support. And I think she saw how important it was for us. And again, she may have known where that path was going to take us. So she was very, very supportive of that. And, my mom always cared a lot about people. And that is, a lot about, what I heard, especially after she passed. And I always talk about her legacy and living in her legacy and a lot of things that I do now. I try to do that. And in me trying to look out for other people, look out for these young ladies. I don't have kids of my own, but all of these, I have like a million kids, I feel like, because I'm always trying to look out for these young ladies. Whatever they need, I give them. And I do that in trying to live up to her legacy because that's what she would do. She always tried to look at, as a nurse, she was always living as a nurse and trying to look out for people. And so that's what I try to do as well. So just trying to live up to her legacy of looking out people. That's what I try to do and trying to live out this ministry of, making sure that these young ladies, have these opportunities and live a life of, being good people. I want to make sure that they are good people not good volleyball players, but are good people.
Mm-hmm. I am sure you are living out her legacy. I know you're saying trying. You are. I hear. And she absolutely is living out the legacy of her mother, Mary Cox. One more round of applause for Dr. Ramona Cox, one of our featured women of excellence, today. Dr. Ramona Cox, we celebrate you on this Women's History Eve of the close of the month. We are so grateful for the great work that you are doing, and we celebrate you. Click share. We're coming closer to the end, and we have a special tribute at the end that I don't want you to miss. I hope that you will click share and tag some other folks to join us in the special tribute. It is a special tribute, and I want as many of you that can be here to join us in that special tribute. I want to, we're still in the Love and Stuff community. And do you know this person? I'll give you a few more moments. Okay. Again, some of these are unsung heroes that are in our community. And that is none other than actress Arya Moody. And Arya is a go-getter. She is being featured in some films that you will see on Amazon Prime. And we are peacock proud of the work that she is doing as an actress and writer and director. And all of her dreams and acting are coming to fruition. And I want to use Arya as an example that don't give up on your dreams. Keep your hustle going, because your dreams are not as far away as you think that they are. I'm sure Arya would tell you that in much more dramatic and poetic way, but it's true that if you stick to those dreams and keep bathing them in prayer and hard work, you will be surprised at what eyes haven't seen and ears haven't heard. Neither has it even entered into your heart. You haven't even imagined it. The things that God has prepared for them that love him and are called according to his purpose. We salute you on this Women's History Month, and give likes and loves, as Darren guessed it, for Arya, actress Arya Moody. Still staying in the Love and Stuff community, we are celebrating great women. And I wanted to bring up this picture. Do you recognize this person? Give you another moment. If you're trying to fashion it, yes, it is Mama V, Pastor Valencia Epner from Lumpkin, Texas, outside of Houston, Texas. She is now an author, Little Fires Everywhere, Pandemic, Protest, Politics, and Power. She co-authored with Dr. Williams, and it's available now on Amazon right now. She is a staple in our Love and Stuff community. She is a pastor in the CME Church. She is a part of their leadership there in their district, as well as an actress, and as well as a singer and songwriter. Many different hats that she has worn over the years. Successful actress in the stage play The Beehive, where she had a recurring role as the late Aretha Franklin. She has done many great things in music, both locally and abroad. A preacher's preacher par excellence, and a social justice activist and architect. We salute you, Pastor Valencia Epner, in this Women's History Month. May you continue to blaze trails for women and people of color African American people everywhere, we salute you. Give loves, likes, emojis to all of these great women that we're celebrating today. And drop in the comments, who are the great women that you celebrate? We want to speak their names so that there is a record of their name being called. Even if they're not the most popular, we want to raise their names in celebration as we close out this Women's History Month. Drop their names in the comments, whether you're on Facebook Live, Twitch TV, YouTube events. We will see their names and we will speak them aloud. I want to play this last clip from the interview with Jennifer Jones Austin. If you want to see the entire interview, of Jennifer Jones Austin or of Dr. Ramona Cox, you can go to our page on Love and Stuff, and in the search engine, type either name and that video will come up and you can watch the entire video. Thank you, Tamzy McKissick. She's being flooded by Miss Lofton's memories. Thank you so much for joining us. And I hope you will click share and tag someone else and just lift up the names of women. In Women's History Month, we just want to recount the names of great women. And so you are welcome to drop the name there and we'll certainly repeat it aloud. We want to give voice to great women, sung or unsung, so that their names can be reverberated beyond this month and so that others will know their work and their work certainly do follow them, and that the women that come behind them will be able to see the greatness that is before them. So please drop the names in the comments. Click share right now. I am going to play this clip from the interview with Jennifer Jones Austin, who I said is an author, and she talks a little bit more about her harrowing event with her battle with leukemia. This you don't want to miss. Click share right now. You will not believe how her story in this chapter ends. And you will want to buy her book, Consider It Pure Joy by Jennifer Jones Austin. You want to read that book. I've read it. It is a read that you want to keep and you want to read over and over again. It's a powerful personal testimony. And here is how part of the chapter in the end ends. Click share, because I want somebody else to get this powerful story from Jennifer Jones Austin. Mrs. Eva Allen, Tamzy is saying, best first lady ever. All right, thank you for shouting out her name. We were saying earlier, Tamzy, that homemakers, wives, first ladies, neurophysicists, firefighters, police officers, whatever the role, women have played pivotal roles, both in the church, at home, and abroad. So thank you for highlighting one of the outstanding first ladies of our time. All right. Have you clicked share? Because I want to make sure you click share before I play this last video clip of Jennifer Jones Austin's interview. But you don't want to leave, because there is a final tribute that I don't want you to miss, that I want to make sure that you see as we close out Women's History Month. I'm going to the Jennifer Jones Austin. Click share and drop in the comments. I shared it already. I shared. I want to see shares in the comments as I go to this last clip from Jennifer Jones Austin. And again, you can watch the entire interview by going to the Love and Stuff page. It is there, and you can type in Jennifer Jones Austin's name and you will be able to get that entire interview. All right. I'm going to share this last video clip of Jennifer Jones Austin, and then we have one. Thank you, Tamzy. We have one more special tribute that we are going to share, and you don't want to miss that special tribute.
I shared with you all that God spoke to me when I was in law school. Didn't just happen, wound up in law school, not knowing what I wanted to do or to be. And he said, I want you to work on behalf of my children, my vulnerable children, the children who need somebody on the ground advocating for them, being a support for them. So that's the work that I do right up to the moment I get sick. It's the work that I'm now blessed to do after being sick. But I'm doing this work and I get sick. You learn that I have leukemia. I need a bone marrow transplant. I need someone to give me their good blood and bone marrow to cure me of this disease. Siblings are, tested, they don't match. 8 million people in the registry, and they don't match. 13,000 people brought to the registry, and still they don't match. And why? Because God had something just for me. Just for me. Just for me. The doctors told me in January, 4 months after I had come down with leukemia, that they'd identified cord blood. Cord blood. Cord blood is the cord blood that is extracted from the umbilical cord blood of babies when they're born. And cord blood has life-saving purposes and treatment possibilities. Cord blood can generate new blood and bone marrow systems. So they tell me they've identified cord blood. And I am transplanted. And I learned that the cord blood came from babies, 2 babies born in New York City public hospitals. Now, here in New York City and around the country, most often the babies that are born in public hospitals are born to people who don't have the resources and the means. They don't have private insurance. 2 little boys, and are you ready? African American baby boys. As I tell people all the time, the children in this nation who are marginalized, ostracized, ejected, rejected, the ones who are carrying the burden from slavery forward 400 years later, Black boys. And it was as though God said, I want you to work on behalf of my vulnerable children. And when the time comes, you're working to save my children. But when the time comes for someone to save you, I'm not sending your siblings. I'm not sending 8 million people in that registry. No, I'm not bringing those 13,000 adults. I'm sending the baby boys, the children, to help save you. Wow. And sometimes people say to me, it's just like God did when he sent his son Jesus. And the blood. Wow. Wow. So I tell people all the time, you don't know how God's working in your life. You don't know what he's doing and when he's doing it and why he's doing it. But all you need to do is trust.
All you need to do is trust, Jennifer Jones Austin said. And just to recap a bit of the story, because I want you to purchase the book, Consider It Pure Joy by Jennifer Jones Austin. She went to law school not knowing what work she was going to do, and she ended up working in children's welfare work and continued to be elevated and promoted in that work and continued to be called to deepen her impact and learn more about not just anti-poverty for children, but all of the factors and variables that go into that, as you heard in pieces of the interview. And she had 2 bouts with leukemia. Initially, they did radiation and it appeared to go in remission. And then she had a second bout where they told her, if you don't get a donor, this is it. And they searched first her siblings, no matches in her family. They searched the registry, which has 8 million people. There was not a match. Her family began an aggressive campaign and got 13,000 new candidates for donation, and not a single one of them was a match. But the cord blood of 2 African-American little boys in a public hospital, the same kind of little boys that her work that she was called to help, was the blood that changed the game for her. You should get the book. Consider it pure joy. And we celebrate you, Jennifer Jones Austin, and the work that you're doing and the work that you've been called to do in the state of New York. I believe she should be working for our president, and I've said it and I will keep saying it. She has an amazing heart, Ramona. You're right, Tamsi, nobody but God. And I think he's called her for such a time as this. I hope someone will tag her. I tagged her earlier or inboxed her to let her know that I wanted to celebrate her great work, because I think young women, like my young woman, Autumn, can look to people like Jennifer Jones Austin and see that when the Lord calls you into work, he's got something in the plan that is assurance in the case you need insurance down the road. And you can consider it pure joy. Give me some likes and loves as we celebrate Jennifer Jones Austin, Esquire. I believe she was recently appointed to a new position in the state of New York, and in the great work that she is doing there. Let's celebrate her and all of the amazing women that we have celebrated today. I hope you will click share as we go to our close. There's one more video that I want to show you that I need to share with you today. It's a phenomenal woman who fought a phenomenal battle similar to Jennifer Jones Austin, and she's right in our Love and Stuff community. She is phenomenal, and I am beyond words and sharing with you the greatness of Lynn Shaw. You will remember that when Lynn Shaw first received her diagnosis with multiple myeloma, that we did a fundraiser to help her incur expenses, and we raised a little bit over $500 at that time to just help in ways that we could help Lynn Shaw. Lynn Shaw is a person behind the scenes that would help to do anything that Love and Stuff needed. She's a person who worked, a City of Detroit employee who worked behind the scenes whenever, as a human resources professional, that I would attend events downtown. Lynn ensured that I had access like I was VIP. She was the kind of person that gave so much of herself to everyone. She started a hashtag Love Now as a part of her journey after having a successful round of chemo, a round of radiation, and getting the multiple myeloma under control. And she co-authored a piece with me, Surviving 7 Steps to Surviving Your Diagnosis. Well, great friends in the Love and Stuff community, Lynn's survival of her multiple myeloma diagnosis gave her angel wings, and Lynn Shaw has made her transition. It breaks my heart to share such news, but I figured if we were going to celebrate women with an indomitable spirit, women who go against the odds, women who fearlessly and unapologetically love now, we had better acknowledge our newest angel, Lynn Shaw. I'm going to play this brief tribute to her. And once we have arrangements from the family, we will share those arrangements and ways in which we can continue to embody and embrace the spirit that is Lynn Shaw and her Love Now hashtag that we will carry forward as a part of this community. Lynn Shaw was a part of our Gratefulness Journey Everyday movement from the beginning, and she was faithful to it, doing everything that she could behind the scenes. Sometimes I would say to Lynn that you just have to just chill and lay back. And she would tell me I have to do what I can do while I can do it. I was so encouraged by her spirit. And I am so heartbroken at her passing. I am grateful that she had relationship with the quintessential love. And Lynn loved him with her heart, mind, body, and soul, and her neighbor as herself. I will share the link in the comments to the piece that we co-authored in memory of Lynn. Of course, it is free, and I hope that you will share it widely. It's the 7 steps to surviving a diagnosis. And Lynn's survival is on the other side, because there is a life after the love that you experience in this world. And so I am proud and pleased that we were able to co-author that piece. Proud and pleased that I had a relationship with Lynn. Proud and pleased that I can carry forward her great work in hashtag Love Now and in the gratefulness journey every day. Thank you, Lynn, for being a part of our Love and Stuff community. Thank you now. Rest now from your labors and enter into the joy of your Lord. And we look forward to the day when love will unite us, that we can see each other again. But until then, you have the best survival story ever. And it is Love Now. May we have just a brief moment of silence in her great memory. And then after, if you will join Tamzy, who is already thinking ahead by putting Love Now in the comments. And I hope that when you share this, that you will just put hashtag Love Now. One sister in the family, I think, has made a post, but not anything official. So I would not encourage necessarily to make a lot of posts at this time. Let's just let the family decide which information that they want to share and how. But I wanted to make sure that the Love and Stuff community was aware. I did not want you to see another post, because Love and Stuff meant so much to Lynn, and Lynn meant so much to Love and Stuff. It's a place in the community where each of you have great value and great meaning to our community. It's a place filled with great people None of us perfect, but all of us in a perfect position to work on upping our love game. It's a journey that I'd ask you to join in Love Now and to help us further the work that Lynn and others like her believed so deeply in, that what the world needs is more love. And so if you're not a member of our community, there's room for someone just like you. And we love you. We'd be proud and honored to have you join us. A moment of silence, please. Amen. I hope that those of you that are still here will drop in the comments the hashtag. There, you're doing it, Vicki. There you go, Sonia. Just put that hashtag in front of it. Hashtag Love Now. And then I hope those of you that watched this now, are watching it now, or maybe will watch it later, that you will click share, put hashtag Love Now, and share it so that people will both see that we have celebrated women and that we have an angel, our newest angel, that we celebrate and love now. I'm Marcus Holmes. Thank you for a wonderful celebration of Women's History Month, as tomorrow is the last day. So if you haven't, pick up the phone, shoot a text, send an email, mail a card, FaceTime somebody, Zoom somebody, some woman who has been a mentor to you, and thank her for making history in your life, because long after she's gone, you will recount what she has done to make you who you are. We're on the Gratefulness Journey Challenge. It's a 5-day challenge that we're going to do each week. We started on Tuesday. We ended on Saturday. Saturday afternoon, I will go live, and you will have the opportunity to chime in and share with us how the Gratefulness Challenge is happening. What is it? It's one thing each day that you're grateful for. And we just ask that you make a post and put the hashtag Gratefulness Challenge. This week, we're talking about teachers, mentors, professors, facilitators, or the lesson that they taught us as the person or thing for which we are grateful. And I shared earlier that one of my mentors or one of my teachers is Mrs. Judith Griffith. She was my second grade teacher, I'll put it that way. And she instilled 2 great lessons among many, but 2 of the greatest lessons she instilled in me is, number 1, she taught me presence. And what I mean by that is she taught me, and I haven't mastered it fully, but I work pretty hard at it, to be fully present when you are engaging another human being. Mrs. Griffith would make you feel like you were the only student in the room when she was talking to you. And being a 7-year-old impressionable boy who thought she was the prettiest teacher, she would stoop down to my level and engage me. Now, she did that to every student, but it landed on me as I was the most special student in the world. I try to do that every day. When I am engaging with someone, I try to bring my full self to that conversation undistracted. And in meetings, especially project and team meetings, I bring a cardboard box. You want to know why? I ask people to put their cell phones in it so that they can be for 1 hour without distraction. Because I think it's important that we bring our full selves to our work and to the people with which we engage. I haven't mastered this, I must admit, but I think of Mrs. Griffith every time I try to be undistracted when I'm talking to another individual. Everyone deserves your undivided attention if you agree to give it. You have the right not to give your attention, but if you do give it, you should give it fully to that individual to reinforce their value and worth to you. The second thing she taught me, and I will never forget it either, I had my first full solo. Of course, in kindergarten, Mrs. Johnson gave me Kookaburra Sits in the Old Gum Tree. I had a line in that song. But I had my first solo by myself in school at age 7, George Benson's The Greatest Love of All. Mrs. Griffith told me, you have a great voice and it belongs on stage. And after she told me that, I thought I could sing anything. Sometimes I still do think I can. But I can tell you that if I am on stage and nervous, it's because I don't know the material, or I don't know the musician, or some part of the puzzle isn't quite in place. I am rarely nervous because there are tons of people, because she told me that I had a great voice and that it belonged on stage. Teachers rock. They build your self-esteem and your view of yourself in a way that can make you feel like you can do anything. They are so underserved and undervalued and underfunded, but they overgive and overstand, not just understand, that every child has the potential to be someone great if we can just speak greatness into them and show them greatness. I today am grateful for Mrs. Griffith, who was a beautiful teacher, I must admit. But I'm grateful more than just her good looks. I'm grateful that she taught me the value of personal connection and focus and the greatness that lies within me. See, it doesn't take very long to do a gratefulness challenge. Each day this week, starting today, do a quick post. And on Saturday, we'll come together and talk about our gratefulness moments this week. And over the next several weeks, we'll choose a different area of focus for which we will share our gratefulness. It's the great way to get the work done to start on your gratefulness journey every day. I'm Marcus Holmes. Thank you for being here. Thank you for putting love now. I hope you will click share, and I hope you will put that hashtag in that share to invite other people to join us as we celebrate all of the women, especially Lynn Shaw. May she rest in eternal peace. Have a grateful evening, and I'll see you soon on the Gratefulness Challenge every day. If you haven't followed us, go to the Love and Stuff page and click follow. It's the best community here on Facebook that you'd ever want to join. Have a grateful evening.